ambition, they know I'm past drift. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I've been swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. Ain't no options, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, you can never catch me. I'm in first place, you can never. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy, your own enemy. When I fall, I keep running. Feel the pain, but I love it, yeah.
You know I'm built for it, you ain't gotta ask twice.
You ain't by that fast life, 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life, big dog status with your stacks like. You ain't by that fast life, just know 100 duffels is the bag price. You ain't by that fast life, 6 speed, yeah I'm smashing on the gas, gas, gas. It's a fast life. Circles, we out the A4. It's a fast life. Look, yeah, I'm about to ride it till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I'm about to run the game, I ain't never dropping off. Let's be talking about a bag. Put a duffel on the dash, yeah, I'm really about to swap. Heavy foot up on the gas with it. Trunk tracks with the cash in it. Passionate, long range when I'm passing it. All drive, I ain't stopping unless I'm crashing it. And even that wouldn't stop me from going after it. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy.
Wyatt Tinsley sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Bar-Bissell FTF Cup Series.
Into the lead. Bud gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordy Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they are going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Get your front there.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
Canvas is going to win.
After the National Series and the iRacing World Championship from earlier this year, virtual short course off-road racing has been spoiled with action. And yet it won't let up, with more seasons yet to come and wrap up in 2023. We return once again as we get ready to watch round 1 of the iRacing Short Course Regional Series, and you'll see it all live here on FTF.gg. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and joining me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our producer, Zach Johnson. We kick things off at Wild West Motorsport Park. Adam, it's one of the first ones that came to iRacing when they introduced the off-road trucks.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely the most bombastic of the courses, with a series of hairpins and a couple of longer turns. Wild West is a real challenge for these drivers, especially with this big climb up to the first turn. There is a lot of opportunities on that first lap to really get yourself bent out of shape and make some contact. We've seen multiple trucks flip over the fencing and be removed and out to the pit lane over the course of many of these heats. So no surprise to see quite a few drivers trying to set their fastest qualifying times out there today, Joe, but it's going to be an exciting race for sure.
Yeah, always is. This series usually puts on excellent action out there, bringing in a lot of people this time around. I have to admit, seems like people are finally taking notice that the short course trucks put on just not only exciting racing to watch, but entertaining to take part in too. So, of course, we've got a whole bunch out here getting ready to compete. And we're in the midst of qualifying right now. The last of the drivers are putting in a lap. They get 4 laps here, Adam, to try and get their quickest time in. And I'm kind of curious how important that track position is going to be here.
Honestly, I think track position is vitally important, especially for those people who end up towards the middle of the pack. They run more of the risk of getting run over from those in the back. So it's no surprise to see the fast times that we're seeing around here. And smoothness is key when you're out there by yourself. But when it comes time for race time, trying to duck it up the inside or even just survive the first couple of corners is a big challenge. Once you get to turns 3 and 4, or the last couple of corners before the start straightaway, it really is more about speed and maintaining your pace out there. And the contact gets a little bit less, but man, these hairpins make it a real challenge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that things will get quite backed up at times, as it looks like qualifying is just finishing up and all 46 drivers have a time on the board. So that's the good news, as looks like we are going to start the first of our heats. Now, for those not familiar, actually, before we get to the format, let's go through our starting order for this first heat with Cody Wieniecki in the pole position. Timothy Messimer will start from second, and Keenan Kusin will start from third. Cameron Magashik will be in fourth. Patrick Solari will start P5, Corey Skiles in P6, and Doug Betts in seventh. Then Jake Hill will be on the outside of that fourth row. Zach Quick starts ninth today, Byron Honea in 10th, and then the last two will be Nicholas Queen and John Dayhoff. So 12 trucks all competing for just 3 advancing through. It's going to be difficult with so many here. And here you can see the format. We've got the 4 heats, and they're each going to be 6 laps, so they'll be quite short. And the LCQs will have 4 laps of their own, so even shorter until we get to the main show, the feature. And top 3 of each for these heats, as I said, will go through, as it looks like we're getting ready to be released shortly. So let's see, we've got, I guess, only a quarter of the field here, Adam, is going to make it through. It's going to be elbows out.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of truckers here today, and it is going to be elbows out, as you said. I expect the strategy at the front two to be self-preservation. Expect those two to be trying to go line astern and not be too rough with each other, because they're going to want to streak away from the pack behind, because the more you get caught up in the troubles behind, the more the opportunity is for them to catch up to you and to make that pass or take a dive down the inside and spear you and try and get by that way. But I expect the battles for the third position, the final transfer spot, to be extremely, extremely tight over the course of these heats.
A couple of interesting names in this one. Wieniecki, obviously, we've seen quite a bit in this series as well. I've seen him now over on the rallycross side, of course, naturally, him giving attempts there. And then Keenan Kusin apparently has been streaming quite a lot, doing his own little feature on his channel. And I suppose he's been streaming for pay for 20 days now, I understand. Some of it for extremely long periods of time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we've heard some legends about what's been going on over on those streams and some of the crazy things he's been required to do with for payment there. But there you see him rocking it out on his rig, 20th day and continuing. If you want to make him keep going, you can donate on his stream.
Yeah, so supposedly some people have recently added a huge amount. It was 25 more hours added recently. So he's going to be on for at least one more full day. And we'll see if he gives us any more interesting games to watch along with iRacing. So they will head around here on the pace lap and then take off. So they're doing the extra lap here. It doesn't take off right away like you would normally see on iRacing. Is extended the pace car, and then they will finally get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming down into the second hairpin of 2, coming down off of this hill, you get a lot of speed going, and we've seen quite a few drivers. You almost honestly come to a stop coming around this corner, especially if you're going into it side by side. If you're going into it one truck after another, you can usually carry some speed through, but then this long arcing left-hander up the hill, this is where things tend to spread out because it's a fast line to really arc the corner and come through. We've seen a lot of drivers actually take an alternate line and go up to the top groove, and especially over the course of the night, Joe, I expect the dirt around here to get fairly slick. So by the time we come into our final tonight, it's really going to be a challenge to get any sort of grip out there.
Certainly. Hopefully the slightly cooler weather will help it keep a little bit of that moisture. Here you can see it's track temp of only about 70 degrees, so pretty darn cool. Here we go. Pace car is off, where it's now under control of Cody. And there it is. Green flag is out. Man, big jump over second place starter Magashik. He falls all the way to fourth. He might even lose that position to Skiles, who's down his inside into the first hairpin.
Oh, we've had a flipper already. That's going to be, that's Patrick Solari, who's gone around from what was provisionally second position. So it's Cody Winiecki and Keenan Kusin out to the early lead, and then we have Cameron McGishik. Oh, we've had another one hit the inside wall there. That was Byron Honea who hit the inside wall. It's really bottled up at the back of the pack, but the top three starting to run away with it.
Certainly started off rather frenetic, at least for a couple drivers, but everybody else gets it going as Messimer, I think, started from pit lane, it appears, as he returns now back onto the track. Winiecki leads that first lap ahead of Kusin. As we mentioned, Magashik, the last of the transfer spots. He's got a buffer of about 7/10 over Skiles.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to have to work hard to get some good single lap pace down, make sure that Corey Skiles does not improve his position and try and challenge for that third spot. But looks like Cameron getting a good run off the top of the hill, going to extend that out to 8/10. That may not seem like much, but in these trucks, unless you can really get a nose into the inside of that truck and get it loose, we're going to see most of these drivers just try and keep it straight right now.
In fact, this is, a lot less side-by-side racing than I anticipated at this stage. They have gone very single file. Did see Jake Hill overtake Nicholas Queen there, coming between 2 and 3. So there are a few that are managing to try and work their way forward, but they're going to have to push hard here. As we said, these laps will go by quickly.
Absolutely. Looks like Keenan Kusin's gaining a little bit here on Cody Winiecki, so possibly a battle for the lead. They do have enough of a gap if Keenan's able to get up to Cody in order to really justify trying to make a pass and improve starting position going into the final. But towards the back, looks like John Dayhoff has had his own spin, getting back going again, back in the 12th position. And these trucks are fairly spread out now. It's about a second and a half separating the top 5 between each truck.
Keenan about 1.1 seconds back, last lap 48.4. And he was about half a tenth quicker than Winiecki. He's going to need more than that to get up to the rear of that number 9, who ticks off yet another lap at this stage. Oh, and Skiles is our latest with a big problem here in 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Skiles actually got up on the inside berm and rolled it about 3 times, hitting the outside fence. So unfortunately for him, he had to park it and let the rest of the trucks go by. So there goes his challenge for the 3rd spot in the final transfer spot.
Messimer sliding up the inside of Queen. Almost gets it done, but they're going to be side by side back into 2 with Queen on the inside. He's going to leave some space for him, does Messimer, and now he finishes the job.
Yeah, Messimer making a little bit of contact with Jake Hill up ahead. It's Brian Honea up ahead of him as well in the 210 truck. Brian Honea trying to hold on to that 5th position. None of these are for transfer spots, but at this point, just a good race.
Fantastic stuff here. Of course, this will determine their start position in the last chance qualifiers as well. So still something to fight for, even this far back for these drivers. You don't want to give up too early. And we got a nice little fight here between the 48 of Queen, trying to see if he can overtake Solari back, but not quite there. Up in front of them, Messimer now working on Honea.
Yeah, Messimer's going to try and swap sides there, try and get to the inside of Honea. Looks like a little bit of contact. Drivers carrying a little bit of speed through the corner. Honea, though, doing a good job holding off Messimer. Messimer's going to take to that inside line, try and get the power down. You can already see that slick line starting to build on the inside, but it's side by side as they come out of the first slower turn.
Climbing up the hill towards 4 inside for Messimer. Can he finish it up? He's got to stay off that berm so he doesn't wind up like Queen, or Skiles a little bit earlier, I should say, as Solari finally has to give it up. So Messimer up to 5th. Remember, he started in 2nd, so for him to have come from as far back down as he did is really a good sign that he's at least got the pace to try and make it better.
And Honea all the way back down to 8th position. Jake Hill making the pass on the inside of 1, but look at this. Honea's got to cut off Hill now as they go through 2. A little bit of contact in the background between Nicholas Queen and Zach Quick, as Quick sends him towards the outside of that corner, able to take away that spot. Looks like Queen's going to give him a little bit of a nudge back, but Jake Hill right on the back of Honea and Solari right on the back of Messimer.
And that was Winecki taking the win here in the first heat. Kusin in second. Magashik will be the last to transfer. The other 9 cars, I should say, are going to head off to the last chance qualifier in a little bit. No shame in that with how big of a field this is coming into it. You're amongst good company, but it looks like it's going to be a real scrap today with so many trucks having to work their way forward. So here is your results on that one with Winecki, Kusin, and Magashik. Like I said, Betts, Messimer, Solari, Bonilla, Hill, Quick, Queen, Skiles, and Dayhoff are going to get one more shot at this a little later on. That takes us to the second heat. Matthew Linda is going to be starting in the top spot with Daniel Solo in second. You've got Cross Kirchmeier in third, followed by Thad Countryman. Cole Fisher will be on the inside of row 3, flanked by Mike Leroy. Austin Bolson will start from 7th, and Solomon Borschinger will be in 8th. Nathan Ramsey starts 9th today. Donnie Battiest will start in 10th, and then it's Richard Swavely in 11th and Roger Swank in 12th. 12 more trucks that are going to try their best to be amongst the top 3 at the finish. Our first go of it this time around with these new faces. Adam, what's your biggest takeaway from the first heat?
Biggest takeaway was that the start is vitally just important, honestly, for these drivers, and the pole sitter really does have that advantage of being able to go as soon as the pace truck pulls off. So it's going to be really important for the trucks behind to anticipate an early jump from the leader and to really try and carry as much speed into turn 1 as possible and try and upset that leader just a little bit. A little bit of contact is going to be something that might gain you a position here or there and make sure that the leader doesn't snake away from you.
And everybody in this field knows this is a contact sport, so there will be some pushing and shoving, but you got to be careful about where you do it. Not just because you don't want to get tipped over or tip over your competitor, but they can hand out penalties if they consider it to be a bump, basically barging your way through. Side to side, you can get away with it, but nose to tail is going to be a different story altogether. As it looks like they're being sent out here now, a few of them ready to go. Pace truck should be taking off. There it goes, finally gets the message, and we'll see if we do 2 laps this time or if we'll get going on the first time.
Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunity for side-for-side contact around this particular course, especially because of those hairpins. So expect to see some late dives if the drivers in front can get as good of a jump as the leader.
Looks like it's only going to be 1 pace lap this time. And there we go. Green flag is out. Linda has got a pretty good run. Kirchmeier's going to try and take that second place away from Solo, though, as they fly down to the first turn. Already more argy-bargy, but nobody gets turned over this time.
Yeah, good jump from Kirchmeier, able to get to the inside of Solo. Solo able to hang on to that 3rd position, but a battle for 4th position between Fisher and Bolson. Bolson trying to dive it up the inside. Fisher pushing the outside. Now it's 4 or 5 wide as we got some trucks going around in the background. That's Mike Leroy, who did a 360, able to get going now, but Donnie Battiest, unfortunately, came to a full stop and is now starting to get going. But the battle for 3rd, still pretty hot right now between Solo and Fisher.
I think Borschinger just got into the side of Leroy and turned him around. Unfortunately, it's caused that little backup, but they at least stay on the rubber and they will carry on here, finishing up the first lap. Linda, Kirchmeier, Solo, your top 3. Things getting physical once again up to turn 1.
Absolutely, that was Thad Countryman and Roger Shank getting into it. Looks like that's going to be Nathan Ramsey going very deep into turn 1, and some contact between Shank and Countryman. That's going to bring Nathan Ramsey back into it as they dive down towards turn 2. But back up ahead, it looks like the battle for 3rd position is starting to heat up as Daniel Solo and Cole Fisher getting into sit side by side.
Solo has the advantage for now. Fisher can't quite make it work. He tips the inside, almost rolls over, but he keeps it a shiny side up, thankfully. Fisher still in 4th, but now he's under threat. Here comes Bolson up behind.
Bolson up the inside, but look at this. Fisher tries to cut off his nose. That's going to cause contact between the two of them. It's going to push them out wide. Here comes Nathan Ramsey up the inside to try and put pressure onto that 4th position battle. He's going to try and make the speed, but looks like the outside carrying a little bit more speed. That's Cole Fisher trying to power it down through turn 1. He's going to turn in early.
Wow, I thought that Nathan was going to have him there. Ooh, as they both clip the inside, himself and Countryman. We continue side by side, though. Fisher and Bolson down into the braking of turn 2. Oh, wanted that over-under, and he tips him over. Bolson goes on his lid, and Fisher gets a little rough to take that 4th spot.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do the over-under and had planned it pretty well. Bolson parked it on the apex, and Fisher just getting into the back of Bolson ended up rolling him over. But full Fisher with huge damage to the front end of that machine. But the battle for second now heating up a little bit between Kirschmeyer and Solo. Daniel Solo made the pass for third and wants to make the pass for second.
Kirschmeyer on the back of the 003 as we watch Solo try to keep with him here. This is your podium. All of them in the transfer spots. They really don't need to fight necessarily. It'll get them a better start in the finale. But how hard, how much will they risk these spots is a little bit of a look there from Solo, who now gets his own turn clipping the inside K-rail.
Yeah, there's plenty of room to fight, or there was. It was 2.8 seconds from themselves to Fisher, but with that contact with the inside wall, Solo down to Fisher is about 1.1 seconds, but a battle for 8th position between Mike Leroy and Richard Swavely as they're duking it out in the background as our top 3 start to streak away.
Yeah, and Countryman and Borschinger got tangled up together there through turn 3 as well, but they'll at least be able to keep going, being led by this 191 down the front stretch. Very fast portion of the track. Watch them absolutely fly at the end of it, too. Look at that. Up through the air, and then have to get on the brakes as soon as they land.
Contact between Countryman and Borschinger, and a little bit of contact with Roger Schenk as well, as he dove it way down in the inside, trying to make that pass. But they're going to come down to another hairpin here, gives them another opportunity to concertina together. You can see Schenk taking it wide, trying to get a little bit of a better exit, but unfortunately, there's already a very, very slick line coming out through the bottom there, so it's going to be a really challenge for those drivers to get any traction now.
Up at the very front, though, with the white flag coming out for Linda, it's 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds up to those transfer spots. So the top 3 really just have to cruise to the finish on this one. And there you see them. Linda actually getting quite a bit of distance himself. Yeah, they are no longer as close as they once were.
No, Linda's really stretched his legs a little bit up at the front of that one with Kirschmeyer and Daniel Solo in those final transfer positions. Battles on for 6th position in the background, but it looks like Borschinger, if he doesn't make any mistakes, is going to be able to hold on to this one as well.
Borschinger will be 6, so he'll have to go to that last chance qualifier, but at least he'll get another shot at it as we watch our leader of the 003 round the final corner and back down the hill once again. Matthew Linda is going to win heat number 2 here for the Regional Short Course Series. Kirchmeyer and Solo will get 2nd and 3rd and will advance to the feature. Looks like Cole Fisher is going to be our first to have to line up in the last chance qualifier later on.
Yeah, that's Nathan Ramsey and Solomon Borschinger, as well as Thad Countryman in 7th position, with Roger Schenk down in 8th, and Mike Leroy down in 9th position, Donnie Battiest in 10th, Richard Sweeney in the 11th spot, and then last but not least is going to be Austin Bolson. So
there you see your unofficial results. So let's head through the grid then of the next one. Only 11 for this one. Alex Beatty will be in the pole position. Tyler Tolene will start next to him. Christian Noble starts in 3rd today with Ryan Lindner in 4th. Brock Smith, P5 for him. Then you've got Brock Hammer in the 6th spot. Nathan Kirchner starts from 7th. Tommy Donahue in 8th. Inside of row 5, Christopher McCorkle. Then you've got Patrick Suilo next to him and Kyle Knott rounding out your field here today. Since we got some time and they're lining up, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, I mentioned the K-rails, and this was a debate that was brought up by Dave Arnold, who's our usual co-Adam. Do you consider those concrete barriers K-rails or jersey barriers?
I mean, I call them jersey barriers myself.
Hey, someone in my camp again. All right. I can't remember what the score is. I called them jersey barriers too, but Dave, who's been in this scene for a long time, said that he'd always heard them as K-rails. So we've had the ongoing discussion on that.
Yeah, I think the K-rails in my mind are the metal ones, but the jersey barriers are the big concrete ones. But that's just the way that I've always heard it, but that doesn't mean that I'm right.
Yeah. When it was brought up first, I said, growing up skateboarding, we always called them jersey barriers because that's what we heard them referred to as. So, yeah, I don't know. If anybody knows the origin of the two terms and what if there is a difference, please feel free to chime in the peanut gallery down there. But I have to bring it up every time if I get a new co-commentator to figure out who's on what camp on that one. Anyways, Beatty will start from the pole position. You said it last time, Adam, that the top spot at the start seems to be so key.
Yeah, the top spot is just giving you such an advantage into turn one, and you can see the leaders have just taken it straight up the inside and just try to jam on the brakes and dive it in there to try and get around the corner before the rest of the field can come piling in, and that's their best way to secure a good run at the top. Honestly, pole position so strong here, and I expect to see the same in the final, but the final quite a bit longer. There's going to be a little bit more strategy, and by then the track's going to have developed quite a bit.
Speaking of longer, I wonder if we'll do another longer pace lap on this one, because a few drivers have missed the drivers' meeting. Kyle Knott, Tommy Donahue, and Brock Hammer have been given EOLs because of that, so you'll see them cycle to the back. If they can do it quickly, we don't have to wait the extra lap, but we'll see. They're going to try and pull off to the side. There's one, there's two, and Kyle Knott was already at the end, so... he didn't have to do anything. They're going to get going. They're going to be a bit behind here if we don't catch up in time. Doesn't look like they've extended it, so they are just going to have this half a pace lap. And there is the green flag. Bit of a checkup, but nothing too bad. Looks like we didn't have any nose-to-tail contact in that. Beatty has the advantage into turn one, but he leaves the door open as Noble's going to stick his nose inside. The checkup allows Tolene to go way around the outside and take the lead.
Honestly, I was surprised that nobody flipped over there. Lots of contact in the back of the field, but Tolene up to the lead right now with Alex and Beatty in second, Christian Noble down in third. But look at this, Ryan Linder able to duck it up the inside and try and take more speed through the corner. He's going to lead it. We got major contact between the 46 and Brock Smith and Christian Noble. Noble's around and facing backwards. He goes backwards on track as we have a big kerfuffle in the background.
So Wheelo almost goes up and over. The 47 of Kyle Knott is already up into fifth position. Not too shabby, although he definitely ran into a few of the trucks along the way. There you see the American flag of Tolene leading the way, while Beatty gives chase after losing that pole. Remember, he only needs to be in those top three, but this is the first time I think we've seen a battle for those top three. Look at fourth place Noble staying in the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian Noble knows that he's just a couple of tenths away from a transfer spot, so he's going to be trying to put heavy pressure on Ryan Linder, and that's going to give a lot of pressure to Alex Beatty and Tyler Tolene up ahead, because Linder can't just ride. He's got to power away from Noble and try and retain that position.
I'm sure he's going to be doing his darndest. Beatty doesn't look too happy about losing that pole position as well. He's still trying to get in there as he sticks the nose in underneath Tolene, but no dice. They get ready to complete lap two. He's still a serious threat.
Yeah, Beatty's got a really good opportunity to dive it up the inside here. Let's see what Tolene does. It looks like Beatty's actually going to think better of it and try and get a better run out of this corner and down into the second hairpin. That's exactly what he does. He takes it a little bit wide, a little bit of contact in the back row between Noble and Linder for that third position. Looks like Beatty's going to hang out, but Noble's up the inside of Knott, and they're going to make contact and go to the outside. That flips over Noble.
He gets back on the right side up, and it looks like Linder's able to continue, but that was a heavy smash into the wall. I'm not sure how well they're going to be driving. Doesn't look like Noble's doing all that great as he gets overtaken by Knott.
Yeah, that's giving Ryan Linder some breathing room. It's about a second and a half down to Kyle Knott, who's made the pass. But yeah, Christian Noble's way down on power now, Joe. Unfortunately, this is the end of his opportunity to transfer in this heat.
I wonder if he damaged the engine in that hit. I was kind of surprised it wasn't smoking when they pulled away. And in fact, yeah, Linder in the same position. Car seems weak and wounded, and he pulls into the pit lane because of it. as we...
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Noble was given a black flag as well.
And a huge, now with those two drivers gone, this has absolutely opened up the final transfer spot. So we're seeing a lot of contact as Christian McCorkle takes it deep to try and cut off Kyle Knott, but Brock Smith able to dive himself up forward, and more contact being made with those two truckers there, as that's McCorkle and Smith. Smith ahead of McCorkle now.
Just a little bit of a nose ahead here for Brock Smith, missing some body work, but he won't need that too much. We come around turn 4. He's out of arm's reach of McCorkle. He's going to have to push hard so that he is no longer in this absolute melee.
Absolutely, and the leaders continue to battle it out as well. They're about half a straightaway ahead, and Alex Abady definitely wants that lead position. He's putting the bumper to Tyler Tolene, trying to upset him, but Tolene's just running his own lines as best as he can.
Keeps that nose underneath him, up through turn 3 and back up the hill. Nothing doing quite yet. Can he take it? Does he really need to take it in this stage? Maybe he wants those starting positions. He looks down the inside of turn 4, but backs out of it.
I've talked about how important track position is, and every position's going to matter when it comes to the heat, but he makes some contact with the inside wall. Was unsighted because of Tolene. That's going to affect his drive a little bit and does slow him down.
He's got a huge gap back to Brock Smith. I think at this point, you might as well try and just bring it home. I'm really glad that he didn't wreck the car in that. That would have been an absolute shame, and also brought even more chaos probably to those behind them when they realize that they're now battling for more transfer spots. So these top two running away, and Smith, I said he had to stretch his distance to those behind. That's exactly what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Brock Smith out to about a 1.5 second lead now over Christian McCorkle, Kyle Knott, and Tommy Donahue. But Tyler Tolene and Alex Abady on the final lap coming up to the final turns.
Tolene is indeed going to take the win. Abady was not able to get that back after starting from pole. And Brock Smith eventually going to get here to the line. One of the biggest separations we've seen yet tonight. He will transfer as McCorkle will be the first not to make it. Oh, drivers fighting all the way to the finish. And it looks like Donahue is going to beat Kirchner in that little tussle. Wow. We had some serious excitement in that one. Let's hope that this carries on.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of excitement with Tyler Tolene taking the win, with Alex Abady finishing in second position. Brock Smith able to clean up the scraps and come home with the final transfer spot. And we got Christopher McCorkle in fourth and Kyle Knott in fifth position. Tommy Donahue down in sixth, and Nathan Kirshner coming home in seventh position. Patrick Sawilo in eighth, Ryan Lindner in ninth, and Brock Hamner in the 10th position. And the last one is going to be Christian Noble.
And our starting grid for the next race sees Paul Mikulajic starting on the top spot. Oliver Golding will be next to him. Aiden Irvin will start from third. Dustin Price will be P4. Row 3 has Jason Bryant on the inside. Dennis Crosby will be to his outside. Brent Smith starts in seventh, and Lance Elkins will start from eighth. Then it's Jacob Stuyvesant in ninth, Corey Boudinot in 10th, and Ryan Bauer starting in 11th. We got a number of drivers that have been sending us their feeds. We showed a couple already here today, but let's take a look at everybody that's logged in and are showing us their perspective on this race. Oh, apologies. We'll see if we can get that up. But always love that what has happened, honestly, in the last, I'd say about 5 years or so, of sim racing and the accessibility we now have. Here we go, seeing everybody who's signed in.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's been really cool to see this start to appear more and more in sim racing.
Keenan knows he's on camera.
Well, of course he does. And I mean, it's really cool to see the different rigs that drivers have. Hi, Keenan. To see the different rigs that drivers have, what kind of things that they're running, whether they're running triples, the VR. A lot of drivers have a lot of success with different sorts of rigs out there, and different levels of different costs as well. So no surprise to see quite a few different drivers having multiple versions of success around here.
Keenan doing, I wonder if that thumbs up is going to become a meme now. That happened earlier today in the Turn GP race, but green flag is out, and the 77 of Mikolajczyk has a pretty good jump over his competitors. Can he avoid what happened to Abadi before? Well, it looks like Dustin Price won't, as a couple of them get tangled. They're all going to stay pointed forward somehow as we plunge down to 2.
Absolutely. Justin Price hanging on to that final transfer spot right now over Aiden Irvin, who takes it really deep into the corner. Most of the drivers taking it fairly calm, actually, through the second hairpin. I think they come a little bit, well, I say that, and then Brent Smith goes around there, but yeah, it's going to be Paul Michalisic and Oliver Golding, as well as Dustin Price in the top 3.
So those are your transfer spots right now. You can see the difficulty heading into turn 4. Mikolajczyk taking way too much of that inside berm. That might have hurt him, because here comes Golding now, spying the opportunity to maybe take that lead away. Is he going to go for the move down into turn 1? Nope, he's not there.
Feels like it's a little early to be making that move, but Golding, feeling a little greedy, he takes a look up the inside. Dustin Price has to back out of it coming down the hill. That's going to make him a little bit susceptible to Aiden Irvin as they go into the final hairpin of the lap. You could see Irvin trying to dive it deep there on Price.
He wants to try and get through. He wants to not leave this up to chance to be able to at least get a shot at the big show. But nothing happening on that one. He's still got to try and get close enough to try and make that pass. Mikolajczyk still bounding over these whoops down into 4 before it comes over the crest and flies down the hill, already getting to the halfway point of this race.
It looks like Corey Bonignot up in the background, just getting pushed wide, I believe, by Jason Bryant through that race. So quite a few drivers trying to gain a little bit more spots here, trying to give themselves a better opportunity at the last chance qualifier. Those top 3 are not free and clear. Mikolajczyk is just not really pulling away from Golding that much, and neither is Price pulling away from Irvin.
Yeah, that's going to get a little bit nervy, I think, for Price, because he would rather be out of reach of Irvin. Crosby also knows that this is a good opportunity for him. As they all come into 4, try and get themselves the best launch possible. This is the longest straightaway on the track along here. They get up to incredibly high speeds. I already mentioned the long jump. By the time they hit it, they're doing about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you hit that jump at 100 miles an hour, it takes you about 60 feet. It's a long ways down to that turn 1. On top of that, you're going uphill as well. The elevation changes around here are really impressive. Man, I'm also seeing, Joe, that this slick line through turn 2 is starting to become a real problem for the drivers. They're having a real hard time getting the power down coming out of the corner. That's just going to give more opportunity to the drivers who want to take an opportunistic slide from a different angle into that corner and try and push someone offline.
Yeah, if we start to get a blue groove, I wonder if that'll start to change the desired line, as it looks like Irvin did not desire the inside. He gets a better launch because of the longer run there than the 22, and that's going to keep him ahead. But I thought for a second that he was going to lose out. Wow, look at them just float through the air.
Yeah, the ideal line out of 4 is actually taking a little bit of an angled bump coming through. There's a little bit of a rise that happens in the middle of realistically at the entry of 4, and the ideal line is to be sideways going over that, but sometimes you can catch that right front tire and that shock compresses fully, and when that happens, it bounces that left front fender up into the air, and that can send you off towards the outside of 4. We're seeing that happen a couple of times in this race, but Crosby trying to take advantage of Irvin having that happen last lap.
As this is happening, that means that Price is able to get away a little bit. They're just kind of squabbling amongst themselves, unfortunately for them. There is your leader with just 1 lap left to go. Mikolajczyk now about 2 seconds ahead of Golding. It looks like he's got this one under control.
Absolutely. Crosby getting into the side of Irvin there, but that's going to push him a little bit further back. Brent Smith and Lance Elkins duking it out for the 8th position, trying to get a better opportunity for the consolation races coming up. But yeah, it doesn't look like Irvin has to worry too much about Crosby to make any sort of progress here on the final lap.
Yeah, just too far away at this stage. Whoa! And he writes it. Trying to see who that was, but scary moment for one of our drivers, just about losing it. Looks like that was Lance Elkins. Meantime, Paul Mikolajczyk wins the last heat of the night. Before we head to the last chance qualifiers, Golding with 2nd and Price with 3rd Irving keeps Crosby behind him, but they're both going to have to race again before we get to the feature.
Yeah, absolutely. So Irvin down in the 4th position, Crosby, like you said, in 5th. Jacob Stivison is going to be in the 6th position with Jason Bryant in 7th. Brent Smith, 8th spot with Corey Bodenier in the 9th position. Lance Elkins comes home in 10th position after being on his side for about 10 seconds during that final lap. And then Ryan Bauer finishing down in 11th spot.
All right. Looks like we are heading off to that first LCQ. In fact, I think we're going to have more than just the 2 here. Let me double check. Yes, we'll have 3 LCQs, actually. We've had that many drivers line up. And the first one will start here with Doug Betts on the pole. Aiden Irvin will start next to him. Then it is Kyle Knott in 3rd. Solomon Borschinger will be P4. Byron Honea will be 5th, and Jason Bryant will start from 6th. Patrick Zawilo will be P7, Mike Leroy 8th, and Nicholas Queen 9th. Lance Elkins then will be 10th, and finally, it's Christian Noble in 11th. Whew, this is going to be wild. Not only do we have almost the same amount, well, we do pretty much have the same amount of people here, Adam, but only 2 advance, and it's 4 laps now.
Yeah, expect a lot of desperation, and honestly, the leader's going to have such a strong advantage into 1 if the person alongside him doesn't go. If you're going to have to really put your elbows out around this particular racetrack and really defend for all you're worth, because everyone's going to be biting at your heels.
All right, here we go. Green flag is out. Oh, that was, again, bad timing for Irvin. He's in 2nd. That's a transfer spot, but he's got to watch out for Kyle Knott behind him in the 47 as they plunge into the first turn. Someone already getting turned around and onto the nose. Oh, my goodness. I think that was Mike Leroy, and also a car spinning like a top on his lid.
Yeah, Patrick Zawilo on his lid over the course of that one. So Doug Betts and Aiden Irvin now out to a pretty decent lead for those 2 drivers. Kyle Knott and Solomon Borschinger duking it out for 3rd position. In the background, we've got Lance Elkins and Nicholas Queen also duking it out for 7th position, but only the top 2 transfer, and Kyle Knott wants that spot.
We saw how good he was passing last time. He didn't get up to the transfer positions, but he got darn close. Gave a little bit of a hello to Irvin. Can he do more? Can he get to his inside at some point?
He's going to try it at some point, but he's going to take the wide line into 1 out where that dirt is not so packed, but that's actually going to give him a disadvantage coming down the hill. So quite a bit of a line, quite a bit of a run for Irvin to get away from Knott. Knott's trying to get himself some grip, but he just can't find it out there right now.
Certainly looking like the racing line is changing and evolving quite a bit now at this stage of the race. Up the hill, Irvin still right with Betts. He's trying to pull away from Knott, doing a good job. He's got it up to a little under a second now, so he isn't under threat from the 47 immediately. In fact, a little bit of a shallow line through 4 from Aiden, seeing if maybe he could do something on Doug.
Yeah, this is a time to think about your transfer spot. You don't want to take too many risks right now. And you could see Irvin just try and tuck it in line underneath Betts. But if Betts starts running slow and he starts to come under threat from Knott, he's going to have to start putting pressure on Betts, and that's about to happen.
And behind them, obviously, there's plenty of battling in the mid-pack. Oh, Irvin did get tipped that time. Knott actually managed to reach him, but did not completely loop him around. They'll carry on up the hill. That's got to be nerve-wracking for the 259.
And we're coming to the white flag. Remember, only 4 laps in these LCQs, and this is the first of 3 for these drivers. Knott is going to have to do something amazing here to catch up to the back of Irvin, and Irvin has to stay right on to the bumper of Betts to not give Knott a chance. As they come up to turn 1 for the final time this race, Doug Betts leading over Irvin, with Knott trying to take away that final transfer spot.
Just right there, Irvin almost going for the lead, so he's gone from defense to attack now. He backs up. Maybe he can get a room down to the inside. Look a little bit overshot there by Betts. Wheel to wheel off of turn 2, switches back into 3, but nothing there for Aiden.
But this is going to slow down Irvin a little bit, but he's got a better run. He's going to push Betts wide. They're both a little slow. This is going to bring Knott into the picture, but he's a little bit too far back. It's going to be side by side for the lead, for the best spot in the final. Let's see who comes off the corner at the fastest. I think it's going to be Irvin, but it's going to be close.
It looks like he's got the speed. They cross the line, and it is indeed Irvin. What a race from the 259. Betts will transfer through, and Knott, sadly, is out of it. If one of your favorite drivers is outside those top two, get your look in now, because you're not going to see him again for tonight. There you go with the results from the D main. Knott, Borschinger, Bryant, Bonilla, Elkins, Noble, Queen, Leroy, and Sawilo are done. We head to the next of our 3 last chance qualifiers. Cole Fisher starts on the pole of this one. Timothy Messimer will be P2, and Dennis Crosby will start from 3rd. Tommy Donahue will be P4, Thad Countryman in 5th position. Jake Hill follows in the 6th spot with Brent Smith in 7th. Ryan Linder starts 8th today. Donnie Battiest will be in 9th, Corey Skiles 10th, and Ryan Bauer rounds out your 11-car field.
Yeah, Joe, it's important to note that only one of these heats have we seen the leader not finish the heat in first. And that was the one where we saw the leader go deep into turn 1. So it was off of a mistake. So at this time, being in the lead seems to be very advantageous. Cole Fisher is going to have his best opportunity to transfer into the final, being that lead truck. But Timothy Messimer, we saw how quick he was over the course of his race after getting pushed out wide through turn 1 in his heat. So let's see whether he has anything for Cole.
Ooh, and they're gonna just hip check one another briefly before Fisher gets the green flag and takes off. Thankfully, nobody got turned around in that little bit, but as they break for turn 1, Fisher giving some space to the inside, launching to the moon. The 22 eventually winds up on the right side, but my goodness, what a barrel roll that was.
Yeah, Dennis Crosby hit the K-rail, also known as the Jersey barrier, and ends up flipping in turn 1. Cole Fisher, though, goes wide through turn 2. This is going to give an opportunity to Messimer to try and challenge him. But look at this, Messimer and Fisher. Messimer's just basically pushing Fisher up the hill, knows that he's got his best opportunity at getting that transfer spot just by making sure that Fisher gets away clean.
And Tommy Donahue was spun out of the boundaries as we have some more side-by-side racing for 3rd now. Countryman and Smith going to start losing ground up to those top 2 if they're not careful here.
Yeah, they're already quite a ways back, about 1.5 seconds back from Messimer and Fisher. But Fisher doesn't look to be very strong through the center of the corner. But Brent Smith up the inside there of Countryman. It's going to swap back to the outside here for the second turn. A little bit of contact through the top of the hill. And there you could see when Countryman got his hips out to make that turn. He actually pushed the front nose of Brent Smith towards the outside, which meant that he couldn't turn in for the turn. So a real challenge for Smith to make turn 2. Turn 3 pushes him wide now.
Well, they're both going to have it parked here in a moment if they don't catch up to those top 2. And we're looking out ahead. They know, they both feel the urgency, but they keep losing time trying to fight with one another.
Looks like Corey Skiles, unfortunately, on his lid. He's had to take it back to the pits because of a wreck. So, unfortunately, he's out of it now. Contact between Smith and Countryman.
Countryman rolls over. He gets back going, though, and he keeps running in 5th like nothing happened. As down into the corner, the battle for the lead between Fisher and Messimer heating up. The irony about Skiles, he rolled it in pretty much the exact same spot that he rolled it in the heat race.
And look at this, Messimer gets Fisher a little bit loose coming through turn 3. That pushes Messimer up to the lead. Fisher falling behind. He's trying to carry speed through 4, and Messimer gets up into the inside berm. Unfortunately, that slows both of them down. This is going to possibly bring Brent Smith into it. Brent Smith's too far back. These two have room to race.
White flag, last lap out here. Great move by Timothy, I have to say, to pull that over under. Oh, too tight to the inside from Fisher. We've seen a lot of trucks already run into that issue here.
Yeah, and unless Messimer makes a mistake, that mistake from Fisher at the top of the hill is going to put the end to his challenge for the top transfer spot. He's still able to transfer, and Brent Smith trying to put some pressure on, but it's too little too late. Just a little bit too much fighting going on in the background, not able to close up to Cole Fisher. Mesmer leads them into 4.
So right now, the 327 and the 155 look like they're going to transfer. Close moment there for Fisher. He gets it going. Mesmer will win here today in the second last chance qualifier. Cole Fisher will get through, but by the skin of his teeth over Brent Smith, who had hopes dashed right at the end of managing to keep racing tonight.
Yeah, we saw a couple of drivers get into it coming out of 4, but unfortunately, all of it for spots that will not transfer them. That's going to wrap up that last chance qualifier with Mesmer and Fisher taking those 2 transfer spots. The drivers who didn't make it: Brent Smith, Countryman, Donnie Battius, Jake Hill, Ryan Lindner, Dennis Crosby, Ryan Bauer, Tommy Donahue, and Corey Skiles.
Which leaves us with one last chance qualifier to try and advance. So only 2 more cars will get to go to the big show. Who is it going to be as they now grid up, and Christopher McCorkle will be on the pole position. Nathan Ramsey is going to try and recover from what happened in his heat race to get through from second as Solari starts in third and Jacob Stuyvesant 4th. Nathan Kirchner starts P5. He's got Roger Shank beside him. Zach Quick will be behind him in 7th. Corey Boudinot in 8th. And Brock Hammer in 9th. Richard Swavely starts 10th. John Dayhoff in 11th. And Austin Bolson in 12th. This has got to be nerve-wracking if you're one of those starting towards the back here, because we haven't seen a lot of changing around at the front in these 3 LCQs, Adam.
Yeah, and what's funny is that this is the last chance qualifier, and for some reason that mentality is a little bit different. It's a little bit more desperate, even though the other last chance qualifiers also were the driver's only chance to transfer through. When you're in the last chance qualifier, the one right before the feature, for some reason the stakes seem higher. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a little bit more desperation in this heat.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could have just upped things, knowing that the way that it played out before, you've got to try and buck the trend, which means you have to take drastic measures a little bit as they wait for the go from race control here. We should be off in just a moment, I'm pretty sure. There we go. And that front row has the spots that everybody else behind them wants. We've certainly seen a few drivers in this one get feisty in their previous heats who will still have the fervor underneath them to try and get those elbows out and fight towards those top 2. Pace truck heads in. We wait for the call from the flag stand, and there it is. Green flag is out. McCorkle did not get as good of a jump as we've seen from some others. He could be vulnerable down in the first turn if he leaves the door open, but he shuts it in time.
Yeah, he took it way wide to try and get a good line through and get out of the way, but Ramsey actually losing a bunch of time to Solari. Solari jumping into that second position off of Nathan Ramsey, and all these trucks making contact with each other. Ramsey putting his nose to Solari and trying to take that second position away. He moves over and covers off Solari, but Solari trying to push him wide through 3. That's going to open up the door to Stuyvesant.
3 wide as they exit off of turn 3. Ramsey briefly has that spot. Solari and Stuyvesant, are coming up the inside to see if they can take it away. Will we get an undercut from Ramsey? No, it's not there. In fact, he's tangling a little bit with Stuyvesant, and now Stuyvesant gets shoved into the side as he runs into another truck, and it's an absolute mess behind them.
It's the big one at Wild West. We've even had a driver pushed into the pit lane. A huge wreck in the background as 2 drivers got together, duking it out for the 3rd position. But unfortunately, that doesn't even matter because Christopher McCorkle and Patrick Solari duking it out for the transfer lead.
It was Stuyvesant that wound up in the pit lane. I have never seen something like that down the front stretch at those high speeds. Down the inside for Solari. He wants that top spot. He started from 3rd, and he's looking to get himself not just through, but as good a position as he can get in this LCQ. Off of the jump, down towards the start-finish line. They got to be careful. Nathan Ramsey is still close enough to be a problem.
And that's why I think Solari is trying to make that move on McCorkle, because Ramsey is actually quite quick over the course of this race with the slick conditions that have developed on the track right now. He's getting good exits, he's getting good entries, he's got a lot of speed, and he's catching up to them right now. So Solari needed to make that pass in order to put as much room between himself and Ramsey, and McCorkle's starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, back there we saw that battle between Kirchner and Bolson that we're watching on screen now up through turn 3. These are not the ones that are going to be transferring. It's these cars in front of them that you see now. They're going to have to fight for it. McCorkle has Ramsey looking up the inside of turn 4, and he just gives him a little hello. Oh, another one very similar to what we saw before, but this time they keep it straight.
Yeah, Ramsey backed out of it trying to make sure he didn't hook McCorkle and in both of their races, but that's going to lose them time to Solari. Solari's pretty much free and clear now. Ramsey trying to catch up to McCorkle. It's the final lap.
It's now or never. If you're Nathan Ramsey, he had a brief taste of it early in the race, but is now fallen all the way to third. He's below the cut line. They're losing touch with Solari in front of them. It's going to be down to the 221 and the 729. A little bit too shallow an entry for McCorkle. Will that hurt him? No. Ramsey is wide off the turn.
Yeah, absolutely. McCorkle just has one more turn to go, but it's the most challenging, the most unpredictable turn. It's turn 4, and look at that, the compression bouncing both trucks. That's going to push McCorkle wide, but it's a little bit too late for Ramsey to take advantage. Patrick Solari is going to win the heat. Christopher McCorkle going to get the final transfer spot. Nathan Ramsey comes up short.
Oh, it's got to be gutting, but it was a great battle out there, I have to say. Awesome between the two of them as the last drivers come through, some of them heading straight for the pits, knowing they are effectively done with tonight. So here is your results on the last chance of the last chance qualifiers, with Messimer taking the win. Solari taking the win, McCorkle finishing second, Ramsey outside of the cut line, Kirchner at Bolson, Boudinot, Hammer, Swavely, Quick, Dayhoff, Schenk, and Stuyvesant are out. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. The feature is coming up after this.
The fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I've been swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. Ain't no options, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, you can never catch me. I'm in first place, you can never. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy, your own enemy. When I fall, I keep running. Feel the pain, but I love it, yeah.
You know I'm built for it. You ain't gotta ask twice.
You ain't by that fast life. 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life. Big dog status with your stats like. You ain't by that fast life. Just know 100 duffels is the bag price. You ain't by that fast life. 6 speed, yeah, I'm smashing on the gas, gas, gas. It's a fast life. It's a fast life. Keeping it moving, don't switch up my code. Life full of circles, we out the A4. It's a fast life. Look, yeah, I'm about to ride it till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I'm about to run the game, I ain't never dropping off. Let's be talking about a bag. Put a duffel on the dash, yeah, I'm really about to swap. Heavy foot up on the gas with it. Trunk drags with the cash in it. Passionate, long range when I'm passing it. All drive, I ain't stopping unless I'm crashing it. And even that wouldn't stop me from going after it. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy.
Welcome back here to round 1 of the iRacing Regional Short Course Series. And with a huge amount of competitors in this one, we've narrowed it down to 18 for the feature. Just a couple more minutes here as the drivers warm up. And Adam, you made a very interesting point while we were gone. Those who made it through on that very first heat have not seen the track since, and there have been a lot of trucks out there to chew up the dirt.
Well, it's actually our producer Zach Johnson that made the point, but it does mean that those drivers are going to be cold going into this race, especially with that developing groove that you're seeing out there. The warm-up's going to give these drivers a little bit of a feel about it, but it's way different when you're in there, in and amongst the other trucks, especially when everyone's diving into turn one. And this is also going to be our biggest field of the night. 18 trucks rather, are going to be out there plowing into turn one, trying to take away the win for this race. And you know how the lead was advantageous in the last heats? With the speeds that you can carry into turns 1 and 2, that lead just makes you a target for a torpedo.
That's for sure. It's going to be 22 laps for this feature race. And don't forget, we will have a competition caution in there that'll line the trucks up and then send them off. They will wave around anybody who has been lapped if they've had major issues. They also have a spare truck waiting for them if they need, so that will help them too. And hopefully if you have problems at the start, you can't give up at them. You have to get back into it.
And honestly, the amount of starters that we're seeing, the amount of last chance qualifiers we've had, honestly, it makes me excited because I always thought myself when I started driving these Pro 4s that this was such a fun truck to drive, especially here on iRacing, and just the way that the tracks developed, the kind of, door-to-door banging racing that we see out here. I'm excited to see just how many drivers showed up tonight, and I hope that they stick it out.
I hope so as well. Honestly, and I know I've said it a lot on broadcasts, but it has become my favorite style of racing on iRacing. It's so underrated, and the fact that it's finally seen itself pick up steam, I think, is a testament to just how much fun it is to compete in these. It's a wild time, I can guarantee you that.
It's really fun on road too.
Yes, that's very true. You can take these on anything you want on iRacing, but it looks like they are now gridding up for our feature. Let's go through the starting order for today's final field. Paul Mikalogic on the pole position. Tyler Tolene will be starting next to him. Matthew Linda will start from third, as Cody Winecki will be in fourth. Keenan Kusin will start from P5. Cross Kirchmeier will be sixth, and then Alex Abady starts from seventh. Oliver Golding will be P8 today. Cameron Magashik ninth, and Adam starting in 10th. It will be Daniel Solo.
Absolutely. 11th is going to be Brock Smith with Dustin Price in 12th position. Starting off row 7 is Aiden Irvin and Timothy Mesimer next to him. Row 8 goes to Patrick Solari and Doug Betts to start off. And then our last two starters in the final is going to be Cole Fisher and Christopher McCorkle, rounding out your 18 trucks here.
All right. They're getting the last little chat from race control before they are released. Let them know what's expected. The fastest drivers have made it into this, so hopefully we should see an excellent display out there, but it's still going to be a little bit chaotic. That's just the nature of the beast. So be prepared for the unexpected and try to keep your wits about you for sure. As they finish that one up, I am very excited. They have the National Series, as I mentioned earlier in the season, earlier in the year, Adam. They've gone to the Regional Series. The iRacing brought back their official Off-Road Truck World Championship. It's just, the momentum is building.
Yeah, and I watched the finals for that, and that was epic. Honestly, to see the level of competition that we were seeing in that off-road finals, it was quite frankly just impressive. And I'm loving to see just how much energy is being fed back into the road dirt side of iRacing. It's so much fun to watch, so much fun to drive. If you've never driven it before, get out there in some of the hosted sessions out there. Join this league. It's free. It's awesome to drive, so much fun, and you'll find friends that you'll be able to rub shoulders with or bang shoulders with for life.
The only thing that makes me sad is that whereas dirt oval, I can easily do that where I'm from, to go and check out my local track, and there's all various paved tracks and paved ovals I can go check out, but there's not that many off-road courses, especially short course truck racing around me. But it has made me put Crandon a lot higher on my must-go-to list of races and racetracks. So hope to try and correct that at some point to get to watch these things in real life. Closest I've gotten is I did get to see the Real World Stadium trucks, which is a different truck, but similar, actually race in person. And I will say, Adam, seeing these things fly through the air, knowing how heavy they are, is very surreal.
I'll bet. And I've seen some truck races where I've seen some videos of people in the stands where the trucks have gone flying past them in the air, going like 60 feet one direction, 60 feet the other direction. It's really impressive.
It truly is. And we are going to get multiple pace laps for this one as well, as they have extended it. So we'll carry on fully around, making sure that everybody is lined up and ready to go for the big show. So you see the pace truck carry on around. And also worth mentioning, if you notice that our pole sitter was not the one that finished on the top in the first heat, that's because they inverted the top 4 here. Just to shake things up, they will invert some of the top runners each race. And at this point, 4 drivers, it was obviously the likes of Cody Wienecke, rather, who found himself moved a little bit farther back than maybe he would have been expecting normally. We'll see how he deals with it, because we didn't get to see him actually race in the field before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how these drivers handle the large field and the kind of speeds that we're going to see. These are the best drivers of the night, and also the most opportune drivers of the night, who have made it to this final heat. And I'm sure the nerves are building, because turns 1 and 2, some of the most chaos in iRacing you're about to see.
All right. Pace truck getting ready to peel off. Mikolajic will have control of the field at the front. Green flag is out. Can he get the whole shot up into the first turn, or is he going to get swamped? It looks pretty good from here. As long as he covers off that inside, he should be clean. And indeed, he is going to stay safe. But what about behind him, as an angry pack of trucks all clamber over each other, and some of them do go on their lid?
Yeah, it's Cole Fisher and Dustin Price who went on their lids, but the battle for second is very tight between Tyler Tolene and Matthew Lind. Very tight stuff. Oh, we've had a huge flip over there. I'm not sure who that was, but they've absolutely flipped. That's Keenan Kusin who's gone around.
Oh, no. He's going to get it back righted. Now, he will have that competition caution to catch back up. I don't know how damaged the truck is. He might have to use that competition caution to go grab that and not lose a lap as well. They fly down the hill. Mikolajic leads. Tolene in second. Linda sits in third, as Wienecke is in fourth. All 4 of them exactly where they started this race.
Absolutely, but these top 3 are very quick, but you can see just how little grip there is into turn 1 right now in that main line. But all the drivers just sliding it into there on the brakes way earlier than we saw at the beginning of the night. Michaleka is going to take it very deep into the first turn, but ends up with his nose on the barriers. That's going to allow Tolene to go around the outside. But here we come through the arcing turn 3, a challenge to try and duke it out on the outside there. Cody Wienecke trying to put pressure on Matthew Lind for third in the background.
There's Mikolajic in the gray truck up at the front, still leading the way. Covers the inside slightly on Tolene, just to prevent him from having a shot, but he's awful close to the back of him. Look at how tight it is in that battle for second as well, because Linda and Wienecke are staying a real concern for Tyler. They hit turn 1 once again, chucking it down the inside. Linda thinks about a move, but can't quite get it, as Tolene instead manages to get to the side of Mikolajic briefly.
Yeah, and Wienecke actually made contact with the inside barrier, but you can see Tolene trying to go on the outside of Mikolajic. Mikolajic doing a good job parking it on the inside there, trying to do his best to hang on to that lead. Tyler Tolene really having some decent pace off the corners. The trouble is that Mikolajic's just blocking his lines into the corners, not allowing Tolene to get the runs that he needs, and he's got to worry about Lind behind him as well.
Sounds like Abedi was given a black flag. I don't believe he served it yet. He sits in 6th position. That's not going to be a good time for him. Also could easily go a lap down here, with the laps only being 48 seconds long. They slide through turn 1. Another try at it from the likes of Linda, but this time he clips the inside, and it looks like Wienecke's going to capitalize.
Wienecke's got a good opportunity to come across on Linda, but actually gives him the room and decides to put the handbrake on instead. able to take that position away from Linda. This is giving a little bit of breathing room to Tolene and Mikologic as they're racing up there for the lead. Winnecke a little bit shallow on the exit is going to clip that inside barrier and give some opportunity to Linda coming into 4.
Leaning on one another there in the background there between Golding and Magashik, but they're going to be able to get out of it okay as we keep watching those top 3. Very crinkled front there for Tolene, who's still giving chase his best as he can. Also, a shout out to Patrick Solari. 6 positions gained here in these 5 laps.
Yeah, Patrick up to 9th position now as the battle for that 6th spot starts to really heat up between McGishik, Golding, Solo, Solari, and Mesmer, all bottled up right now for that 6th spot because of these hairpins. Look at this, Golding going for a dive on McGishik, who actually got a little bit wide entering turn 2. He's going to take that position away.
Back around through 3, Golding covers him off as quickly as he can. Looking back at the car of Magashik, who's hounding him. Had some overlap, but has to get back in line behind him. Will he try anything desperate into 4? No. Oh, but he is going to give him a big bump in behind them. Some side-to-side contact as Solo gets shoved out of the way by Solari.
Solo and Solari, not super good friends this particular race. They've made a contact a couple of times over the course of this race. We're on the 6th lap here as more contact between Golding and Megashik. So unfortunately for the 2 of them, just not able to separate from one another. As look at that very early turn in for McKitchick and Golding trying to take that away. They got locked together on exit.
Solo gets a spot as well behind them, punts him to the outside. Magashik tries to catch the truck, dashing up in the open hole. Looks like the 70 has managed to get a nose ahead. He's got the inside up into 4. Question is, can he hold on to it into this tricky left-hander?
Remember, it's the competition caution's going to come up for these drivers, so every single position counts. It's all about track positions here, but look at this, Solo with a good run as McKitchick actually, unfortunately, just lost a little bit of speed through turn 4. Golding trying to hold off Solo right now, but Solo's got a good run. He's going to have to take the wide line. Solo gets a little bit of a tap there from the 253 as they make more contact through the turn. Golding with the inside line, Solo with the outside line.
913 almost got them both in that move, but it was an excellent move regardless. Still working on the 70 as beside him, Magashik doesn't like the fact that he's been picked on a little bit here, so he's going to try and get his elbows out. But now he has Solari managing to sneak by up into 8th position. What an amazing run for the 992. Should see that competition caution at halfway here, so we still got a couple laps to go.
Yeah, Magashik from 6th position all the way down to 8th now over the course of 2 laps, but the lead is actually really crunched together between our top leaders, Paul, Tyler, and Cody, starting to sneak into one another.
Yeah, they had some contact there coming through turn 1. I think maybe Tyler's getting a little tired of running as second fiddle here. We watch this big group fly down. Oh my goodness, 3 wide down into the corner, and that's going to send a car rolling. Magashik gets bumped around, turned into the barriers. He eventually gets rolling, but he's all the way to 13th.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit aggressive now because he's going to realize that just a little bit too much compression for all those drivers there trying to hold on to all those positions, but they've fallen back now as our leaders start to compress a tiny bit at the front.
Yeah, those top 3 may have run away from those behind them, but they still have stayed close to one another. Here we can see them on screen now. Got to give credit to Mikologic. We've talked about how important track position is looked every time, and yet the 77's just executing on that beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. Mikologic doing a good job of just holding off the 77, holding off the 177 of Tyler Tolene tucked in behind him, just running lines that emphasize exit, not allowing Tolene to get to that rear bumper and upset the truck going through the corner, as we see Winnecke actually starting to get to the back of Tolene and do exactly what I just talked about. If you can just tap the other truck on exit with how slick the track surface is getting with all 18 trucks out here, that's just going to upset your line a little bit. There goes Tolene a little bit deep. That's going to give an opportunity for Winnecke to try and make a move.
Tolene's going to have the inside, but will there be a cutback from Winnecke? He could try to pull the over-under if he times it right. He can't quite get there. Tyler will live to fight another day.
That being said, he's going to go a little bit wide through 3. Side-by-side contact between the two of them, and that's Wienecki absolutely just shoving Tolin offline. Fair move from Wienecki. Just a little bit of pressure between the two of them.
Cody just barely ahead and down into turn 4. He finishes the job finally. Fantastic stuff from the 9. But now, can he go and catch Paul Mikolajic is the question.
He doesn't need to worry about that. He's got a competition caution that's going to bring them all together. So this is going to be a good opportunity for all of them, and we are into the competition caution now. Mikolajic's going to slow it down, and everyone's going to get in line as we don't have to wave around anyone, I don't believe, except for Alex Abady, who had that black flag. So it's going to be, should probably only be this lap.
One driver we almost had to wave around was Keenan Kusin, who we saw have quite the moment at the very start. Impressively, he's still running, missing a few parts in the car, unfortunately. But the 03 is up to 15th after he rolled over there early on. Here is the replay of what happened to that purple machine down into turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really challenging stuff for all these drivers into turn 1. Just a lot of contact there into turn 1. Just as you can see, drivers getting pushed. We had the flip in the background, but now we're going to see what happens to Keenan. As he goes into turn 3, he's going to take it very deep and just gets pile driven into and ends up bouncing off of that K-rail and flipping over. Unfortunately for Keenan, had to slowly recover and then get going again.
He's very lucky that he wasn't actually pushed out of bounds, because essentially your car disappears the way that iRacing deals with it and zaps you right into pit lane. He was bounced way up into the air. I thought for sure from that replay it looked like he might wind up doing that, but no, the racing gods smiled upon him.
The trucks are now stopped awaiting Alex Abady to get back to the back line of the back of the line, and that's happening right about now. So we'll get going here in just a moment to continue the final heat. It's going to be just about I think about 11 laps to go when we get there.
Well, the plot thickens. We had just received word Abady's black flag was for turning over Keenan Kusin. So now those two are going to be much closer together on the same lap. I'm sure Keenan's not going to be too thrilled about that if he sees the 98 start to approach behind him. We're going to get the green flag here shortly as they've got them all waved around back on the lead lap, and Mikolajic will have to do it all over again. It's this time, though, it's Wienecki behind him instead of Tolin, who certainly hassled him in the first half of the race. Going to be 11 to go when we cross the line. And there it is. Green flag is out once again. The 77 gets on the loud pedal. Very good jump by him over the field. He gets himself well out of reach.
Really good jump from Brock Smith as well in the 46 truck in the background. More contact through turn 1, just as we expected, as I believe that is the 253 of Cameron Megashik making contact with some of the drivers on the outside, but the leaders away and clear at this stage. Oliver Golding, though, and Brock Smith making contact with each other.
And this time, I noticed I was keeping an eye on Kusin. He went way around the outside of turn 2, even though he wasn't in a group. I think he was kind of hoping there'd be another pileup and he could pick up a bunch of spots. But up at the front here, looks like we got a nice little battle in the mid-pack. Whoa, and a few trucks going up and over once again. Is that Solo?
That was, I believe that was Daniel Solo and Patrick Solari who got into each other going into turn 4, rolling over Solo. So unfortunately for him, that's going to drop him further back in the pack. You can see more trucks getting upset going into turn 1. Everyone taking it very personally now.
Rolo for Solo, and he keeps carrying on. Ooh, in the back, yeah, more drivers just piling into one another constantly here. We know that it was going to be more trucks, but it's frantic as we're on board with the 15 now, looking backwards. This is Dustin Price.
Yeah, Dustin Price has Aiden Irvin tucked in behind him, challenging him for the 10th position. He just lost 10th to Cameron up ahead of him, and Dustin Price now trying to recover, but his truck, you can see the front left fender absolutely missing from that machine.
Oof, and he's going to miss the front right if he keeps doing that.
Oh. Sorry, Joe, our leaders just got together a little bit. Wienecki and Mikolajic getting together nose to tail through turn 1. That's going to slow both of them down and bring Tolin back into the picture. I think Wienecki thinks he's got a shot at this win for sure.
I don't blame him. The pace that he showed in that first stint made it look like he's got good pace, and he's holding on to the back of that gray number 77, at least up to this point, climbing the hill once again. Could it come down to who has the strength over the long term, though? Who has the pace there? Oh, he's going to make it a non-issue as he tries to make the move already down the inside of turn 4.
Absolutely. So that's going to put some pressure on Mikologic. Mikologic is going to have to think defensively about these turns because he doesn't want Wienecki to get into him and slow him down any. But look at this. Wienecki just with a lot of speed right now, able to get off of these corners very well.
So we look back from our leader, Mikologic, seeing through his mirrors this man, Cody Wienecki, hounding him at every corner. I think they got to be careful. Tyler Tolene's about 1 second back from them. If they do start racing side by side a lot, I think that third car could still be a problem.
I think Wienecki's best opportunity is into 1. That's where he seems to have the best speed on Mikologic. Especially on corner exit. So if he could just upset Mikologic just a little bit and get a good advantage on corner exit, he might be able to put pressure on him into 2. But it's going to be hard pressed to do so. You can see, here we go, almost gets to his inside, but in order to preserve the speed off the corner, Wienecki did not put the power down as much as he could have to get and upset Mikologic. But you can see him trying out different lines right now, trying to get to the inside of Mikologic there.
Still right on the rear bumper of the 77 through turn 3. 7 laps to go. He's got time, but not a whole lot of it. He's already made some stabs. What has he learned so far? Adam seems to think down into turn 1. Look at how much that inside line is starting to alter. We're seeing rubber now laid down.
Yeah, that's going to change the complexion of this as well. As to whether or not that rubber is slick because of the dirt getting kicked onto it, or whether that's quick for the drivers. But as you can see into turn 1, not quick. You're seeing that line really start to carry out towards the outside of 1. You could see these drivers absolutely sliding it through right now, trying to find the dirt on the outside line.
Using, at least in oval racing, what they call the cushion there. If you could consider it one at this stage, certainly not one building up here in turn 3, as there's quite a bit of outside line that it's been cut into as well. Up into turn 4 now as they fly down into the left-hander. Mikologic just hitting his marks every corner. I'm actually kind of impressed with the way that he has been almost robotic with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's starting to pull away now as Wienecki's starting to struggle a little bit with the grip there. He's still trying to take that inside line and actually gets a better run off the corner this time. A little bit of contact between the two of them.
He's got him on the back foot now, forces him to go down to the inside, tries to go the long way around. Could a cut back give him what he needs? Not quite, although he might try and get his nose in. Down at a turn 3, tiny bit of overlap between them. 77 gives him just enough space. He is certainly there. Cody has made his presence known.
So here's the thing, is Mikologic saw what Cody did last time. Is he going to try and do the same thing up the inside this time around in turn 1? If he does, is he able to carry the speed through the corner like Wienecki is? We haven't seen that be the case over the course of this race yet. So let's find out what Mikologic does here in turn 1.
Both of them take the same line until the apex. He manages to get down to the bottom. He's got the nose ahead as they fly down the hill off the jump. He's going to be neck and neck down into turn 2. Who is better on the brakes and who's better off the corner? 77 takes it back, edges out Cody to the side, and he's going to return to the lead. Beautiful
Move, just sliding his way through the corner, putting the bumper to Wienecki. But that being said, Mikologic knows that he's weak right now. We've had a couple of drivers go out. Mesmer and Mikologic actually going out of this race. Mikologic into the pits with repairs. But look at this, riding on the back bumper is Wienecki. Mikologic trying to hang on to that truck.
Cody briefly becoming the trailer to Paul Mikologic's truck, but he is able to get off it in time, thankfully. They got to be careful here. It's starting to get a little bit more physical. This time, I think the 77 covered him off a bit better.
That was a beautiful slide from both trucks as they dove it into 1. Both of them 90 degrees to the direction of travel. Look at this, though. Wienecki trying to do the over-under, gets into the inside barrier. This is going to give an opportunity to Tolene, who has been gaining because of all the battling. Now it's a side-by-side for 2.
That was incredibly smart from Paul. He saw it coming. He parked it on the apex. Just absolutely came to a crawl through there. And Cody had no answer. This is what has put him back with the number 177 down into turn 4. He's on the inside, but he's pinched down a little bit. Can he get the throttle down? Looks like he does decently, but we got a drag race coming to turn 1.
Yeah, there's just not enough grip on this track to make the outside line be quick. The cushion is far out of the line of travel. Look at this though, Winecki absolutely parking it on the inside, forcing Tolene traction down. But Tolene has an opportunity to dive it on the inside. Winecki covers it off. Tolene gonna try and do the over-under, but cuts it in just a little bit too deep. Unfortunately, can't quite get there.
I think Tyler's biggest fan right now is Paul Mikolajic, urging him on to try and fight with that number 9. It's helping him get away bit by bit, and we're going to come to the white flag this time by. He needs this distance to stay as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's impressive to see these drivers. They've been duking it out 4, 6, 7 laps now. But Paul Mikolajic, ever since Cody made that slight mistake at turn 2, has been able to run away with this one. A nice battle for 6th position between Brock Smith and Oliver Golding. Look at how deep Winecki took it into that corner and how early he turned in. Tolene tried to do the same, but ends up collecting the inside barrier.
Didn't quite work out. Down into turn 2. Oh my goodness, it was a wide run for the 77. I thought it was going to be vulnerable for a second. Maybe went a bit too deep on that one. It's not over yet. Look at Winecki. He's suddenly gotten away from Tolene. Could he catch up, or is it too far back?
It's starting to close a little bit here as they dive it into the final corner. Mikolajic just needs one more corner to go, and he's got it clean. He just needs to put the power down, and he'll have this win over Winecki.
He was re-grid onto the pole, but he took full advantage of it as he'll win the opening salvo, and he laughs in joy here, knowing that he's won the Regional Short Course iRacing Series Round 1 over Winecki and Tolene, who definitely made him work for it. I have to say, that was an absolute thrill to watch.
Amazing stuff from these truckers as you could see them sliding up next to each other. Good battle between Mikolajic and Winecki and Tolene towards the end of that race.
Well, with that, I think we're going to take a look at the results of that one then, of our 18 final drivers competing here today. Mikolajic taking the win. Winecki coming from the regrid 4th from where he should have started in 1st up to 2nd, was so close to the win, but 7/10 off at the end. Tyler Tolene wound up 3rd, and Matthew Linda wound up 4th. Cross Kirchmeier was in 5th position at the end. Oliver Golding in 6th. Brock Smith, a gain of 5 spots to finish 7th, as Aiden Irving was up 6 spots to get himself an 8th place finish. Cole Fisher wound up 9th, and Dustin Price was 10th.
Keenan Kusten, after being on his lid, comes home in 11th position, and with Doug Betts finishing in 12th, Daniel Solo in 13th position with Christopher McCorkle in 14th, and then it's the drivers who did not finish the race. That's going to be Patrick Solari, Cameron McKissick, and Timothy Mesimer, as well as Alex Abedi, who had another black flag towards the end of that stint.
And it looks like we've got Paul ready to talk to us. Can't wait to hear his thoughts on that final battle and all he had to do to try and retain the win, because it gave us some serious thrills. Paul, congratulations on the win. You had to fight for that one with the regrid. Did you feel nervous about trying to hold that track position, or did you feel like that would be a huge advantage on your part?
The regrid, do you mean on the start or the halfway caution?
The regrid at the start, since it puts you from 4th to 1st.
I'll be honest with you, I had no idea there was invert until I gridded and there was pole. I was like, oh, okay, just drive straight. That's what I did. I hope for the best.
Well, I mean, it was a phenomenal defense. Cody was all over the back of you. Mm-hmm. Were you kind of cheering for Tyler to catch up to help you out there for a bit?
A little bit, but I know y'all do FTF, the Bar Visuals Cup Series. So I know you guys know NASCAR. I came Ryan Newman for like those past 10 laps. I was not letting anybody pass me at all.
That's fantastic.
That's all. I'm gonna give up on that sentence. You could go.
That's fine. Well, I mean, you open things up with a win. That's going to be a tall bar to step up to for the rest of the season. Can you take more features?
Oh, I think so. There's some tracks I'm really comfortable with, like the shorter tracks, like Wild West. And I'm not sure if we're doing Crandon short here. I don't know. I don't really know the schedule. But I'm pretty good at the shorter tracks, and I'm okay at Crandon. Everybody says I'm good at Bark River. I hate it, so whatever.
I believe it looks like we go to Crandon twice, and one of them says full, the other does not. So I think that might be a short one, and if it is, it'll be next round. So,
Well, I won't be here next round because I'll actually be in Wild West seeing a nitrocross race. So
I'm very jealous. Well, congratulations. Enjoy the race and enjoy the victory tonight.
thank you.
That was Paul Mikulajic, your winner here today. And up second, it was Cody Winecki. Adam has caught up with the number 9's driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody Winecki in battles all night long, and especially here in the final, you had to battle it out with Paul Mikulajic and Tyler Toline. How was it taking home second position today?
Feels pretty good, starting fourth position. Paul's really good. We've raced a bunch of times, so we respect each other. But man, he made me work my butt off.
Yeah, it was impressive to see the both of you absolutely send it in to turns 1 and 2. I could see the respect and the knowledge of each other's lines throughout there. You're really pressuring him with those good exits off of the inside line with the Blue Groove. But how was it trying to keep Tyler behind you in those final laps? Because he seemed to have some surprising pace.
Yeah, I almost got around Paul, and then I screwed myself over. So Tyler got up next to me, and I was like, "Oh no!" So we kept it side by side, but wasn't too rough with him. And then I was trying to catch back up to Paul, and just trying to take different lines because can't follow to win.
Yeah, but a great race tonight. And overall, what do you think about this field size? A lot of different truckers out there, a lot of different opportunities for you to experience different competitors over the course of the series.
Yeah, there is a lot of good people in here, and bummer for all the ones that didn't make it, but it turned out pretty good today. Yeah.
Well, next up we go to Crandon Short. What are your thoughts on that track, and what do you think your chances are of making it into the final and possibly duking it out for the win?
Crandon Short is probably one of my worst tracks, and the land rush always gets to me, so we're going to see what we can do there, practice our starts, and hopefully keep up with the top guys.
Well, Cody, congrats on P2. It was a great night for you tonight.
Thank you. I just want to thank Top Box Racing, MFR Off-Road, Winnicke Motorsports, Polaris Razor, MRT Teamsters, and everybody that helps me out. Thank you.
That was Cody Winecki, who finished in second tonight in the final. And that's going to bring us to Tyler Toline, who finished in third position just behind Joe's got Tyler.
Indeed, but he started the first half of the race in second. And Tyler, you gave a few goes at trying to pass Paul to no success. Was it frustrating when right before the competition caution, Cody got you?
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. I was hoping to stay in front of him up until that caution. Hope to get a little break, a little reset.
No doubt you saw them start to battle. Was that kind of putting a smile on your face closer to the end?
Yeah, I was wanting to get in there, get a little action at the end, but I was struggling with the track a little bit. It got pretty blue grooved out there, so those guys definitely showed up.
Absolutely did. I mean, it's such a huge field out here today. Was that a pleasant surprise to show up and see the incredible numbers that wanted to take part in the regional series?
Yeah, there's some top dogs out there. It was fun. It was cool to see everyone out there racing together.
Well, congratulations on a podium. Not a bad way to start the season.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Tyler Toline there in the 177, finishing third here today. That's going to wrap us up. Make sure and join us at Crandon in 2 weeks' time from now on November 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern, as we mentioned, but also a big thank you to the organizers at the iRacing Short Course Series, and a huge thanks to our team tonight, Adam and Zach, as well as Cameron Auburn out on social media. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the iRacing Short Course Regional Series. I'm Joe Peak, and I'll see you on the track.